you see the game time temperature, 88 degrees. That may weigh heavier for the Chargers, more so than for the Dolphins this afternoon. Anthony Lynn in his third season, very composed yesterday. He's got a seasoned coaching staff around him. He has 22 victories. Meanwhile, Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins, in his first year, he's been with the Patriots for a long time. 0-3 is a little odd for him at this point in his first year here in South Florida. Well, the Dolphins won the toss. They have deferred. Jason Sanders will kick it off. And Troy Pope is back deep to receive for the Chargers. So we may get an indication early on whether Melvin Gordon is an emergency guy or if he's going to play today.
I don't expect to see him on this first drive. Ideally, they wouldn't play him at all. If they can get out to a fast lead, then we may not see him the entire game.
Well, the football goes out of the back of the end zone. Here comes Phillip Rivers. The seasoned veteran that he is, he did acknowledge that life is getting a little easier for him, making his 212th consecutive start, second longest streak by a quarterback, and he still loves the competition of the game.
Yeah, you love the locker room. He talked about that, the players, the guys. What gets easier is you have so much recall. You know what defensive coordinators have done to you in the past, and you know you have the answers to the test before you take it.
Well, Melvin Gordon is on the sidelines. Pope is the starting tailback. That's Culkin who's in motion. We're going to see him probably a little bit more at the tight end position today. And the handoff goes to Eckler, and Eckler running right gets up to the 30, gets up to the 28-yard line. So a gain of 3 yards.
You're going to see a lot of guys that you're not used to seeing if you're a Chargers fan. Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin out. Virgil Green, Hunter Henry out. Justin Jackson out. So a lot of young guys are going to get opportunities today. And we talked a lot about Keenan Allen. He leads the league in targets, in receptions, in yards. Somebody else has to step up for these Chargers.
Yeah, step up even to free him with a pass play. We see it right out of the gate. Howard is on him on the near side on Keenan Allen. It's second down and 7. That's Allen in motion into the backfield. And Rivers looking to throw. Pressure's coming. He throws. Pass is complete. And he's got Lance Kendricks, the seasoned tight end, inside Dolphins territory.
Ken Wisenhunt loves to do this for Phillip Rivers. You bring Keenan Allen in motion. You know it's man coverage because Howard goes with them. So that gives Phillip Rivers the pre-snap indicator, understanding then where to go with the ball. That's where I say Phillip Rivers has the answers before he takes the test. When he knows what you're doing defensively, you're in a lot of trouble.
Eric Rowe makes the tackle, a gain of 24 yards. There's Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. It's first down to the 48. Eckler's in motion. It'll be a run play, not to Eckler, but to Pope, and Pope is down close to the 41-yard line. Eric Rowe makes the tackle. Gain of 7 yards, close to 8.
This is a defense, Tom, that has really struggled this year. Last in the league in almost every category. And what they've struggled to do is stop the running game. Dallas rushed for 235 yards, 7 yards a carry. Brian Flores told us we have to set the edge and then we have to play stronger on the interior. If you can't stop them with the initial defensive line, then you're not going to be able to stop them.
And by the way, Parker is starting at a safety position for Bobby McCain, who's out with an injury. Middle of the field, pass is complete. Inman, his first reception of the day, a first down to the 27-yard line, a gain of nearly 16 yards. Phillip Rivers did tell us that Inman was going to be spotlighted a little bit more.
Yeah, he was really happy when they brought Dontrell Inman back because he understands the offense, knows it. They have really good chemistry. The one guy he felt like they could step in and understand what to do.
Yeah, that's a big deal when you have a veteran who has been gone the last couple of years who understands what Phillip Rivers is all about. First down from the 27. And it's a wildcat play.
That?
Yeah, it's odd to see Tyrod Taylor in the game, tackled by Taco Charlton. Rivers was split out to the far side. There is a flag down.
The only time we've seen Tyrod Taylor this year is holding for field goals. So Ken Wisenhunt getting a little creative here, and he talked to us about that.
Tony Correnti is the referee today's 22nd season.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, and repeat, first down.
Dan Feeney, the guard, called for the holding penalty.
You see Dan Feeney Right there at the point of attack. When he turns, you see that so often. You turn, you keep a hold of the jersey, they're going to call the penalty. A lot of times when you go outside the box, you haven't run something, you're not as comfortable, and a penalty ends up happening.
So it's first down and 18 from just outside the 35-yard line.
Keenan Allen in motion.
Off the play fake, Rivers looking to throw, looking Allen's way, dumps it off underneath. He's got Eckler. Eckler's so good at this. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a half yard. McMillan makes the tackle for the Dolphins, a gain of about 8 yards.
What Austin Eckler does that I think surprises people is he's such a strong runner. He's not a big guy, but he runs really low. He hides a lot of the time behind the line of scrimmage. And then because of his low center of gravity, he's able to run through arm tackles, break tackles. It's very surprising. I think defenders are surprised the first time they go up against him. You see it on tape when you're watching it, but when you see it in person, it kind of shocks you.
Jeremy Davis is in for the first time as a receiver. He's number 11 in the slot to the far side. On second down and 10. Rivers from the gun. Steps up underneath. Passes complete to Jeremy Davis.
Well, that was just a clear out route. You had both receivers, including Keenan Allen on the right, run clear outs. Rivers knew he was going to go underneath the entire way.
Gain of 6 yards. Sorry, already 4 receivers used. There's Melvin Gordon still on the sidelines, but 4 receivers used by Rivers.
He needed to spread the ball around. Against Houston, the ball went to Keenan Allen all game long, and they talked to us about that, the fact that they had to find somebody else. Keenan Allen, 13 receptions against the Texans.
Andre Patton is in for the first time. He's number 16 on the near side. They just activated him this week on third down. Rivers looking to throw. Underneath, pass is broken up. It was intended for Kendricks. Rashad Jones got a hand in.
Really good play by Rashad Jones, reading Phillip Rivers, breaking on the ball. Coming across the middle of your screen here, sees it, reads it, breaks on it, no contact. Excellent job defensively, forcing the field goal attempt. And now you got Ty Long coming in. This is his 4th game. Badgley again couldn't go because of the groin injury, so the punter who's been doing the kicking the first 4 weeks, Ty Long, comes in. Not easy at all to do both jobs. You haven't seen it since Michael Keenan all the way back in the early 2000s when Atlanta tried it. He missed a bunch of kicks and they gave up on that experiment. But Ty Long, other than the Lions game, has done a good job.
39-yard field goal attempt, and this play is blown dead. A flag came in for the backside. That's going to be delay game.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 4th down.
So that's on Tyrod Taylor, the holder. Whenever you have a field goal situation, you don't want your kicker looking at the clock. And Tyrod Taylor's a quarterback. He's used to looking at the play clock, so he has to be the one who watches that. You know, now backs it up 5 yards. Now Ty Long has the ability to go deep. He only went back to 50 yards in warm-ups, but he did make a 54-yarder against Ohio State when he was in college.
He also made a 52-yarder in the CFL. This is a 44-yard attempt. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is good. So a sigh of relief for the Chargers. They're up 3-0. 10-12 to play here in the first quarter. Melvin Gordon, we were told they weren't sure how much he would play today. They'd like it to be an emergency situation. He did not play on the 8 offensive plays on the last drive.
He told me before the game, he goes, this is so weird for me. I don't even know if I'm going to play or how much I'm going to play.
We do know that his teammates were happy to have him back in the locker room, as we mentioned. Rivers was, even the other running backs were. Grant may have a chance to return this, and he will take a knee. Josh Rosen making his 2nd consecutive start for the Dolphins. Fitzmagic had won the job in preseason, but Rosen last week, 200 yards passing. He has over 2,400 yards and 11 touchdowns in 14 career starts.
Yeah, he wasn't the reason that they lost that game to the Cowboys. His receivers let him down, a number of drop passes. They fumbled the ball at the 5-yard line going in before halftime. They want to see more from him. He's got to take control of this offense. You have a young, inexperienced line against 2 of the very best in Ingram and Bosa. He's got to be in command today.
They average only 222 yards of total offense per game. Rosen to throw. Drake out of the backfield. And he eludes one man and gets across the 30 up close to the 33-yard line.
That's somebody who has to step up for him. When you have an inexperienced line without continuity, the best thing for that is a quick game tempo, getting the ball out of your quarterback's hands, and the ability to run the ball. Kenyon Drake so far this year has been disappointing, only averaging 3 yards a carry, and it's not really his fault as much as it is a lot of that offensive line in flux.
2 tight ends set now for the Dolphins. It's 2nd down and 3 after a gain of 7. Here's Drake again, and Drake over the block of his right guard, breaks a tackle and stumbles inside Chargers territory. Jenkins with the tackle, but there is a flag down.
It's near the line of scrimmage. One of the things that I did was to go back to the playoffs, the Chargers versus the Patriots. You have Chad O'Shea and Brian Flores from the Patriots.
Illegal formation offense. In the unbalanced formation, offensive lineman was left uncovered. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, that negates a 19-yard gain and moves it back 5 yards.
And those are the things that you can't have. You look at both sides of this line right here and right here. You can't leave an offensive lineman uncovered when he goes in motion. It's a penalty.
You know, that's one of the things from the Dolphins standpoint is that they haven't been penalized that often. You would think 0-3 would dictate a lot of penalties. Well, there you go. Fewest penalties, number 2 in the National Football League. Lodge is in for the first time. He'll take the handoff. Scampers left and up across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Thomas Davis made the tackle. It was great to chat with Thomas Davis yesterday. He's kind of like the ageless one.
He wanted us to talk about how young he looked.
He looked youthful in the
right.
conversations.
Gave me a hard time about Rich Gannon talking about his daughter in college.
He should be proud of that.
That's right.
Rosen is 1 of 12 passing on 3rd down today. Their percentage is just at 20%, last in the National Football League. They're facing a 3rd and short. 3rd down and 3. He will throw. Pressure's coming. Bosa's there. He breaks away, wobbles it, and it's tipped and then caught by the Dolphins. Great concentration by Preston Williams. Gesicki had it, and it was off his hands, and Williams was there to reel it in.
Well, Bosa almost gets home. You're going to see him come right off the edge there. Josh Rosen does a good job stepping up. A very dangerous pass where he threw it up in the air, and then exactly the way Chad O'Shea, their offense coordinator, drew it up. Little deflection to Preston Williams.
Gain of 26 yards. Drake is back in. A little hurry up now for the Dolphins. They wanted a little more tempo. A quick toss to Williams. He's going to throw. He thought about it. Now he rolls to the near side. He's going to become a runner. And he barely gets back. He may have lost a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Rochelle was in on the tackle.
Well, we saw this play in practice, and they were trying to run a little double pass. So you're going to watch as he comes out right here down the middle. They throw a little screen to Preston Williams, try to get the double pass. There's the tight end running down the middle, and he's covered, and Preston Williams does a good job not throwing it.
You wonder if Smythe should have come back a little bit as he was covered going downfield. 2nd down and 11. Rosen middle field underneath. Pass is complete to Nick O'Leary, who thought he was going to get hit a few times and then fell inside the 35 to the 34. Roderick Teamer made the tackle. He's a story for the Chargers.
A lot of flux in that secondary. A number of injuries. They lose their best player in Derwin James. Then they lose Adrian Phillips, who replaced James. That hurts Gus Bradley and his scheme flexibility that he likes to use. Brandon Faison has had to play a lot. Roderick Teamer has had to play a lot. He struggled against the Texans.
Yeah, we're going to see Nasir Adderley as well, the rookie from Delaware.
He's their 2nd-round pick. You haven't seen him yet much this year.
3rd and 2. Rosen looking underneath. Nothing's there. He's going to the outside. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Dolphins. Devontae Parker slipped behind the secondary, and the Dolphins, with a 34-yard touchdown pass play, are on the board. That's their first touchdown on their first drive of the game since the end of last year.
If you're a Dolphins fan, exactly what you want to see. Look at the pocket that Rosen had, the time he had to allow that play to develop, and then a nice ball down the field. Devontae Parker, he's been the big home run threat that they've tried to exploit this year.
Dolphins fans know this. It's their first lead of the year with 6:32 to play in the first quarter. Parker open for his first score of the season. Gorgeous day here in South Florida, and if you're a Dolphins fan, you know that it's the first time this year that they have had a lead. It was a nice drive. 6 plays, 75 yards.
Excellent drive. Rosen had time on that drive. You talk about that offensive line. All the new starters, 3 positions. They did a very good job on the first drive.
4 for 4, 75 yards for Rosen. Back deep to receive is Desmond King. And King will just let this Sanders kickoff go over his head and out of the back of the end zone. All right, so let's look at this touchdown one more time, Jay.
A beautiful job. You're going to see Devontae Parker right here. He's going to run it out and up, and you get a clear out route up top, and an excellent job. Watch the time he has to allow that route to develop. Great job by the offensive line. Devontae Parker, he caught a big one against New England, a big one against Dallas. He finally gets in the end zone. They need him to step up. That's a guy right there that's a star player for them that can really help a guy like Josh Rosen.
Again, Gordon's on the sidelines. This will be the 9th play of the first quarter. He hasn't played yet. Eckler's in the backfield. That's Allen in motion. They shovel it to him. Allen running to his right, and he's knocked out of bounds near the 30. Let's go to JB and Nate in New York. We got a touchdown up in Buffalo.
Indeed we do. A Josh Allen pick leads to the Brandon Bolden run right here. You see him, he gets in for the 4-yard run. Gostkowski would miss the PAT. The Pats lead 6-0. Ty McCarthy, Jay Feely.
Gostkowski missed a couple of kicks down here in Miami as well. But if you're Josh Allen, you can't turn the ball over against the Patriots.
No, he had certainly the atmosphere on his side up in Buffalo. We saw that last week on 2nd down and 5. Rivers, time in the pocket, underneath, passes complete to Watt. And Watt rumbles along the near sideline and out of bounds as a flag comes in. Eric Rowe makes the tackle. He may have gotten the face mask because he made the tackle.
Yeah, that's I think what it is going to be, and you're going to add 15 yards. Phillip Rivers was looking deep to Keenan Allen. They went play action trying to catch the Dolphins looking in the backfield. That wasn't open. He went to Watt on the check down.
Personal foul. Defense number 21, lowering the head to initiate contact. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and an automatic first down.
You can see right there, it's the new rule this year. When you come in, you can't lower the head and go make contact. Right there's the contact. It's tough on a defender because you're almost trying to protect yourself. But it doesn't matter. That's the new rule, and you have to understand it. Go in there, not lower your head, and not make contact with the helmet.
All right, so overall it's a gain of 36 yards to the 34 of Miami after the 21-yard pass play. Rivers hands it to Eckler. Eckler has some daylight on the edge. That is one heck of a one-on-one tackle by Howard. He needed to make a one-on-one tackle, too.
Austin Eckler, I talked about he's difficult to bring down. Most of his runs are inside. I don't think he should have bounced that outside, but a good job of coming off the block and making the tackle by Howard. He was one-on-one with Amari Cooper last week and struggled. Cooper had a couple of touchdowns, and he was ready for this game and the challenge of Keenan Allen. We talked about it. Not a man of many words, but he was very motivated and focused.
2nd down and 9. Ball inside the 34, close to the 33-yard line. Colkin, the tight end, in motion. It's Eckler again. And Eckler slips the tackle this time and is spun out of bounds inside the 30.
Bunch formation for the Chargers. You're seeing a lot of Keenan Allen coming in motion behind the quarterback, trying to draw the focus of that defense and then allowing other players to make plays. They know that this defense, especially after last week when he had 13 catches against the Texans and it seemed like every ball was going his way, that's where the focus is going to be on Keenan Allen. So Ken Wisenhunt saying, okay, I'm going to use that against you.
Gain of 5 yards. Buster Pope is in for the Chargers. It'll be 3rd down. Rivers, middle of the field, pass is complete to his tight end to the 15-yard line. Kendricks. Rashad Jones in on the coverage. There is a flag. Tony Correnti and his crew have been busy so far in this first quarter.
Holding defense number 20. This penalty has been refused. Result to the play, first down.
Hey, you know, we talked about how they haven't been penalized much. That's hurting them in this first quarter.
It certainly has. A big run came back with an illegal formation. You get the holding call there. You get the lowering the helmet. And if you're the Dolphins, you can't afford to do anything to help the other team beat you.
It'll be a first down at the 15 of Miami. What do you think Rivers likes here, Jay?
Well, you always like Keenan Allen. He's in the slot right here, matched up one-on-one.
They go to Pope, and Pope steps inside the 15-yard line.
We asked Ken Wisenhunt how the injuries, Mike Williams, Virgil Green, Hunter Henry, Travis Benjamin, how that would impact his play calling. He said, I have to be cognizant of not having too many 3-receiver, 4-receiver sets because you wear those receivers out. The other thing is he loves to put his tight end, go in a 3-by-1 set and have that tight end on the other side because it gives Phillip Rivers that pre-snap indicator when you don't have a tight end like a Hunter Henry to bring that defense and make them cover man-on-man, then you can't run those type of plays.
Well, he's got 2 backs in, and it doesn't look like any tight ends. That's Pope in motion. Rivers pumps to his left. I think he wanted to go to Pope. Nothing's there. Rivers underneath. He has Pope at the 7, and he dances into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. Look at Phillip Rivers, 37 years old and still high-stepping after a score.
What an excellent job by Phillip Rivers, buying time, running outside the pocket, but not to run, just to make the defense respond to you, and then as soon as they do, slipping it to Pope, and they get the much-needed touchdown. Watch Phillip Rivers come out here, understands where he can go, buying time, keeping his eyes downfield, nice little flick, reminiscent of what Watson did to them last week in their game, the Chargers game. A beautiful play by Deshaun Watson.
Well, now Long is on for the point after. He's perfect so far this season. Trying to make this 10-7. Long is the normal punter for the Chargers. Badgley out again with a groin injury. And the point after is good. 10-7. Chargers on top of the Dolphins. No Melvin Gordon yet, but Pope with his first score of the year. Hello, Jay Feely. I'm Tom McCarthy here in South Florida, where the Chargers have retaken the lead. 10-7. Dolphins. Nice drive last time. We'll get it back. Grant can return it. Comes out middle of the field. Up to the 15. He's electrifying. And he's wrapped up and taken down. Jeremy Davis makes the tackle. Did Ty Long get hurt on that kickoff? Oh, no.
He was limping, and this would be catastrophic for the Chargers. Here he goes, and he kicks up. This is the chance you take. And he kind of came off there awkward, and then you saw him limping a little bit. And if you lose him, you lose your punter, you lose your kicker. And I asked, all right, who's going to be your backup? Dontrell Inman would be your punter. Right. Watt would be your kicker.
Yeah, amazing. Drake gets a couple yards up to the 24-yard line. And they acknowledged yesterday that they were taking a chance. They were comfortable because Long has CFL experience. He has college experience. Anthony Lynn felt like he could do the job, but when you did ask him about who would back up,
he said, I might bring you down out of the boot.
He might bring you down out of the boot.
Right.
And I said, you have to come down with your jacket on, though, and your pocket square. Second down at 7. And again, Drake up to the 30-yard line. It'll be third down.
Well, what impressed me most on that drive for the Dolphins, that touchdown drive, was the offensive line. They have so many new starters. Isaiah Prince getting his first start of his career, his first playing time. Jamarcus Webb, who they brought in week 1, they flipped him from right tackle to left tackle. Bain getting his first start. So there's so many moving parts. And, you know, I watched practice Friday. It was basic install stuff they were working on.
Yeah, you said it was the first week of training camp, essentially. Third down at 2. They're 2 for 2 on third down so far. Rosen has time underneath. Pass is complete. And they're going to mark it past the first down marker. There is a flag on the far side. That was Jakeem Grant who made the reception.
Illegal contact, defense number 58. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Gus Bradley, like every defensive coordinator, was giving the Dolphins great credit when we met with them yesterday. And I know he's depleted a little bit with his secondary and with a couple of other guys as well. But this is probably a kick in the gut right now, the way this game started defensively.
Yeah, he wanted his guys to play better. They did not play well against the Texans, especially in the second half. And that's been the story for these Chargers this year. They've had the lead in all 3 games at halftime, and they've given up that lead all 3 times. They end up winning the first game in overtime. But they know that they have to put teams away when they have the opportunity.
On first down, Rosen sets up the screen. It's got Drake. Drake has blockers, has a first down inside Chargers territory. And he's getting close to the 47-yard line. That's a gain of 19. Well, this is the best start for Kenyon Drake so far this season.
And this is what Chad O'Shea told us. Get the ball out of his hands quick. As we roll through this, watch the blocking downfield. An excellent job. There's a beautiful block. There's another block up top. You got wide receivers, tight ends blocking down the field. There's their offensive line coach, Googe. Guglielmo, he's an excellent coach. Wasn't even the offensive line coach at the beginning of training camp.
Here's Drake again, and Drake down to the 43-yard line. It's a gain of 4. Jerry Tillery makes the tackle, the rookie from Notre Dame.
Good to see their first-round pick get in there and get some action.
Well, we've got ourselves a ball game. At the end of the first quarter, the Chargers have a 3-point lead, 10-7. The Dolphins, however, are moving the ball again. Pretty cool. Dolphins rookies as well as local law enforcement launched the Bigs in Blue program. They'll provide 2019 Dolphins rookie class with the opportunity to participate in the community as mentors. The Big Brothers, Big Sisters. On second down, Drake, he's been busy in this first quarter, and Drake carries the pile down close to a first down marker. There's Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers.
One of my favorite guys to talk to. Just awesome.
Best.
You know, one of their issues defensively this year, as good as Ingram and Bosa are, is the fact that they haven't gotten a lot of pressure on quarterbacks and haven't gotten the sacks that they're used to, the production that they're used to. And really that's because teams have gone max protection. They've been doubling both of those guys. They've been chipping coming out of the backfield with tight ends and running backs.
That's Drake in motion. He'll take the handoff, and Drake, he's been a workhorse, slips a defender and gets inside the 30. He's got a first down and more to the 28-yard line.
I started to talk about it in the first quarter, and we didn't really get into it, but Chad O'Shea, when he was with New England last year going against these Chargers and Gus Bradley, their answer early was to double team Ingram and Bosa and run right at them and try and slow them down. You've seen that a number of times today.
And it's amazing that it would work even with this personnel compared to the Patriots personnel.
Well, he said that was the key to the running game, sustaining the double teams.
Balaj is in. He'll take the handoff. Balaj to his left. There's a flag in. He lowers his shoulder, and he's inside the 20-yard line. They'll mark him at the 19, maybe the 18, but this may come back.
Holding, offense number 61, a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
That's Jamarcus Webb, who's starting on the left side of the offensive line.
It's not easy to flip like that. You come in week 1 on a Friday. You're just trying to learn the offense. All of a sudden, Julian Davenport gets hurt. You got to step in, and now you're playing. You just get comfortable at right tackle, and they flip you to the other side at left tackle.
Yeah, and the other offensive linemen have talked about that too, Jay. They said it's difficult because you know, you try to get these conversations going with the guy next to you, and every week the guy next to you is different.
That's right.
First down at 20. Rosen, near sideline, nearly intercepted, but Williams is able to hold on. Is it a catch? Let's see. Yep, they're going to say he got it at the 26-yard line. Michael Davis hit it, but Preston Williams is a strong receiver.
Moving on the field was a catch, fumble, out of bounds.
You see he's got the ball and it's secured.
They're going to run it right away just so they cannot review it. Gesicki, and another flag is on the far side. They may have run it a little too fast.
Michael Davis had been injured. It was a big get for Gus Bradley to get him back. He injured his hamstring in the first quarter.
Penalty is going to go against the Chargers, according to the Dolphins.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the defense. 12 players on the field. Offside, number 52. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
All right, so they moved the ball to the 21-yard line. You know, the Dolphins rushed up because they didn't want anybody to look at the play by Williams. It was a clean catch, and the ball did roll out of bounds.
It was, and Chad O'Shea told us at times we want to use more tempo. To do that, though, we have to complete passes. We have to have good runs so that we can allow us to use that tempo.
Second down and 3. Here's Balaj. And he's to the 20-yard line. Short gain of 1 yard. Balaj, the second-year pro out of Arizona State.
On the previous play, the offside was accepted. The defense, too many men, was declined.
Thank you, Tony. Tony just randomly turning his mic on to explain it to everybody. It's okay, though. I like more explanation than less explanation. 3rd and 2. They're 3 for 3, Jay, so far on third downs.
Josh Rosen's been doing a good job of knowing where to go with the ball and getting it out.
And he got it out quickly there, and it's broken up. Great hands by Michael Davis, and a flag is in.
That was Davis versus Williams again. We saw it earlier on this drive. Davis almost intercepted it. He was there early. They think they're going to call him for holding here.
Wow, that's a big penalty.
Give him the first down.
Yeah, the flag sits inside the 10-yard line.
Rosen knew where he wanted to go with that ball before it was even snapped. Took a step, planted, and threw. It was lucky that Davis didn't jump in front of Preston Williams.
It was defensive holding on the play that became pass interference. Defense. Ball be spotted at the spot of the foul. First down.
Here's Preston Williams. You talked about it earlier, how big he is. You see him with a little grab right there. I don't know if that was pass interference. There wasn't a whole lot there. I think it's the initial little grab that they called.
All right, so this has been an issue for the Chargers defensively. They've allowed a touchdown in 5 of the last 6 red zone drives. That's Grant, and Grant is pinballed down to the ground. He lost nearly 3 on that play. That was excellent pursuit by Jenkins.
Yeah, that's been the story so far for the Chargers. Red zone struggles on offense. They've turned it over 3 times in the red zone on offense, and then not being able to get stops defensively.
Second and goal. Inside the 13-yard line. Rosen rolls. Balaj, he had it on his hip and he dropped it. He was trying to run before he actually corralled it.
This Miami team leads the NFL in drop passes. Drake dropped one on the first drive against the Patriots. There was a number of drops last week against the Cowboys, and you just can't afford that. When the ball is there and it's a good throw and you get it out, even if it's a 3-4 yard completion, you got to catch the ball.
That is the first incompletion for Rosen. And you're right, the Dolphins were the leaders in drops going into last week's game. It's 3rd and goal. Drake is back in to the left of Rosen.
Preston Williams up top, 6'5".
Rosen looked that way. Bosa. And he throws to the back of the end zone. Drake has it, but I believe he was out. He was out of the side part of the end zone.
Really good job by Drake converting that route. He ran an out route and he converted it, went up the sideline, and they almost got the touchdown. He just drifted out of bounds.
Yeah, it wasn't even a college touchdown. He didn't even have 1 foot in.
But at least he caught it.
At least he caught it. It was good practice on his part. Right. Here's Sanders for the point after. For the field goal. It's a 30-yard field goal attempt. Hawk, the punter, is the holder. He's 3 of 4 on field goals this year. And it is good. We are tied up at 10 with 11:10 to play here in the second quarter. Not too shabby for the Dolphins so far. They're even with the Chargers. Good game so far. It's 10-10, the Dolphins and the Chargers. Desmond King back deep to receive for the Chargers. Look at that shot. That is beautiful.
They did an excellent job with the stadium.
They really did.
Looks completely different.
And, you know, I did a lot of baseball games here. It looks completely different. King puts his foot in the grass and then cuts to the near sideline. He'll get up to the 25. Another flag is down. And we'll see who this is against.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 11. Penalty being assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
Second penalty on Jeremy Davis as they'll walk it inside the 15.
You see him right there. And there's no reason. I get so frustrated when I see that special teams coaches do as well. When you're not in position, don't put your hands on the back. If they go down at all and they see the hands on the back, they're going to call it,
right,
even if there's not a lot of contact.
Still no Melvin Gordon. They were not sure how they were going to use him today. They had hoped it would be just in an emergency. Some people thought he might get 15 to 20 reps. Rivers to throw on first down. Eckler underneath. And Eckler to the 16-yard line.
Rivers wanted to go to Keenan Allen there. They were in zone coverage, and they doubled Keenan Allen, and we haven't seen a lot of him. He's been used more as a decoy today. Only one catch for 5 yards, and that was on a little shovel pass.
I know they talk a lot about, Phillip Rivers, and he's talked about this, how he's better at not forcing the action. Will he force a play, do you think, to Allen?
Well, the interesting thing is he also says that Keenan Allen is really good when he's hot early. And he gets him the ball early, and they haven't been able to do that yet.
Kendricks, the tight end, in motion. Dolphins showing blitz. They'll run the ball. The Chargers will, and there's nothing there. Raekwon McMillan with a great stop. That's a loss on the play. It'll be 3rd and 4.
He's been excellent against the run this year. Pro Football Focus has him rated as the 2nd best linebacker against the run. Not great against the pass, which is why he hasn't got a lot of playing time against Dallas and only played 21 of 72 defensive snaps. But that's exactly what Patrick Graham wanted. Set the edge and then have your linebackers fill and make a play in the backfield.
3rd down and 4. Rivers to throw. Dancing in the pocket. Middle of the field. He's got Allen. And his 2nd reception of the day up to the 32-yard line. Howard was in on the coverage and the tackle.
You could see Phillip Rivers looking over there, trying to determine exactly what the coverage is, understands where the hole in the zone is, and then goes right to his favorite receiver in Keenan Allen. A beautiful pass by Phillip Rivers. And when you talk about having the answers to the questions, when he knows what you're going to do, he knows exactly where that hole is going to be in the zone, can float it in there, and it's an easy completion.
On first down from the 31. Under 9 minutes to play in the first half. And there is Allen wide open again. A flag comes in as he's inside Dolphins territory. One man to beat. He'll go in. 69 yards. But who was the penalty against?
I think this one's coming back. I think they're going to call offensive pass interference against Keenan Allen. He kind of pushed off as he got to the middle of the field.
Pass interference, offense, number 13, pushed off the top of the route. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Good call, Jay.
Bring Keenan Allen all the way across the field. Now watch right here in the middle of the route right there. Not a lot of contact.
Now there's the flag. It went.
But he runs straight into him and hits him, and they're going to call it because that's where the ball goes.
Is that what you see, Gene Steratore?
Yes, I do, and here's why, guys. Although the defensive back puts the arms up to kind of begin the initiation of contact, Keenan Allen then lowers that left shoulder and drives through that defensive back, which by rule now is the offense creating that and initiating that force. That's why they went with offensive pass interference on the play.
That's a good call. The shoulder part's a good call. Thank you, Gene. We appreciate that. We'll chat again. Moves the ball back to the 21-yard line. Negates a 69-yard touchdown play. Rivers, and his pass is complete to Davis. Let's go to JB and Nate. They've got an update on the Raiders and the Colts.
Derek Carr, sharp. Yeah, check out this ball placement right here, JB. Here it is, back shoulder fade ball. That's a touchdown by Tyrell Williams. 19 yards for the TD. They're up 21-7 over the Colts.
Carr, 11 of 13, 102 yards and 2 touches back to Tom McCarthy.
JB, I'm going to sell you on the fact that Rivers is 11 of 12 for 145 yards. Quarterbacks are stepping it up so far today. Here's Allen still going over that pass play that was called a penalty. Second down and 1. Eckler. And Eckler has the first down.
There's going to be a 15-yard penalty there. And those are the kind of mistakes you can't make if you're Miami.
And Rivers was pleading with Tony Corrente.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 94. 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
The very talented Christian Williams, the rookie from Clemson, who they feel like is getting better with his technique for the Dolphins.
He hasn't had a ton of production, but this is just a rookie mistake. You see him right there in the middle of your screen. You have the running back stopped, and you pick him up and slam him down. They're going to call that every time. You want to be aggressive. You want to be physical, but you have to have discernment.
Well, Brian Flores is not happy with the rookie. He's out of the game. And now from the 41 of Miami. Rivers fumbled the ball. I do believe that Mike Pouncey fell on top of it. The Chargers do recover. Whether Pouncey or Feeney, it was Feeney that fell on it.
Yeah, it's just on the quarterback center exchange. Feeney was pulling. He does an excellent job of getting down on that ball and covering it up.
Mike Pouncey, the veteran center, 9th year from Florida, making his return to Miami.
4-time Pro Bowler. Excellent center. Has been a huge pickup for the Chargers.
The loss of 1. Second down and 11. Rivers underneath to Allen. And Allen on a wide receiver screen to the 37-yard line. Taco Charlton with the tackle.
Playing in his second game for the Dolphins after coming over for the Cowboys. Got a sack last week, a late one, kind of a hustle sack. Very talented. We talked about Brian Flores. They were very excited to get Taco Charlton and bring him in. Patrick Graham talked about it as well, defensive coordinator for the Dolphins.
Patrick Graham said he told Charlton, he said, listen, I've wanted to coach you since I saw you in the combine.
How about that? That's what you like to hear as a new player.
Rivers 12 of 13, 150 yards.
They're not in field goal range yet.
8th play of the drive. Pass is complete to Inman. At least initially it's complete. The Dolphins are saying it hit the ground. Eric Rowe in on the coverage.
And they're ruling it a completion. Let's see if he made the catch. No, that ball is incomplete. Well, did he? No, he didn't get it.
There's the challenge flag. It's been thrown by Brian Flores.
This will be interesting. This is going to be an incomplete pass. He never made the catch. And I think they're going to be out of field goal range. They probably have to go for it on 4th down.
Here's the look. We'll have a decision when we return to Miami. Is it a catch or not? Call on the field is an incomplete, or is a completed pass. And here's Tony Corrente.
It's going to be incomplete.
Yeah. Chargers are already moving back.
Yeah, they know.
Inman never really had control.
After review, the ruling on the field will be changed to incomplete pass. Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 6 minutes?
So the clock goes back to 6 minutes.
It's going to be 4th down.
And Miami will not be charged with a timeout.
At the 37-yard line. That would be a 55-yard field goal. Going this way in warm-ups, Long only went back to 50. That's why I said I think they'll go for it here.
2 of 3 on 4th down conversion so far this season.
Here's where you miss not having a kicker. You know, if you had an excellent kicker, you come in here and you kick a 55-yard field goal and try and take the lead.
Rivers up to the line of scrimmage. Play clock is down to 10.
There's Keenan Allen at the bottom. A little communication between the quarterback and the receiver there.
Play clock down to 2. Rivers takes the snap, dancing in the pocket. He's hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. There's a flag in, though, at the 46-yard line of Miami.
Rivers was looking to Keenan Allen. He did a little stutter step, tried to beat him deep. Rivers didn't have time because the pocket collapsed and couldn't throw that ball deep.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense number 78.
I think he means
said
offense.
Defense,
yeah.
and he pointed at the Chargers offense. 78 would be left tackle Trent Scott on the Chargers.
15-yard penalty will be taken from the spot where the ball was snapped. 15 yards against San Diego.
right there
it will
to the
be
left.
Miami's ball, first down.
So a big penalty because it gives the Dolphins 15 more yards and the ball with 6:05 to play in the first half, tied up at 10. Here at Hard Rock Stadium, where we're tied up at 10, Melvin Ingram is questionable to return because of a hamstring injury. I wonder if that puts a seed in the mind of Anthony Lynn about whether he'll play Melvin Gordon because of the heat. Here is Walton running for the first time, down close to the 45. That penalty was huge because they got the stop on fourth down, plus 15 yards.
Yeah, brought it all the way across the 50-yard line. Dolphins have an injury down on the field.
Looks like Nick O'Leary, one of the tight ends, is limping off the field.
Not having Ingram certainly impacts what Gus Bradley wants to do. He loves to be in his 4-3 and run cover 3 like he did at Seattle.
So O'Leary's injury. His own man fell on him.
Up. Good to see him up and walking off.
So they moved.
But not having Ingram is huge because he doesn't want to bring blitzes. He doesn't want to have to manufacture pressure because he usually gets it from Ingram and Bosa.
Uwosu is on the right side. They may use him more in a pass rushing role. Underneath pass is complete to Walton. And Walton pinballs to the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Dolphins.
You can see Josh Rosen how much time he has, which we didn't think coming into this game he'd have much time at all. With all the moving parts on this offensive line, all the new guys starting in new positions, the lack of continuity, and then going up against Bosa and Ingram, you thought this would be the game that this defensive line starts to get after the quarterback and get production, and it hasn't happened yet.
Isaiah Ford, number 84, is in for the first time. He's on the near side of the field. Rosen looking that way. Underneath, pass is complete. And it's a first down to Ford. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. A lot of action going on. The Bills and the Patriots is a big one. Showed you the Raiders and the Colts, what was going on there. Here, shocking. Brian Flores' team has played really well.
Well, they played well against the Cowboys last week. You know, they had an opportunity to go in and score a touchdown right before halftime and take the lead, and Drake fumbled.
There's Walton again. He's getting the reps on this drive. A gain of 2. The second-year pro out of Miami, used to this field, used to this heat, which I know you played here in 07. You grew up here. It can be overwhelming at times.
Well, it's certainly a lot hotter on the Chargers sideline. You get the shade. When I did the game week 1, Baltimore against these Dolphins, standing on that side had a big impact. It felt so much hotter than it did standing on the Dolphins side because of the shade.
Were you sweating?
Yeah, profusely.
2nd down and 7. Rosen, middle of the field, and Williams. And Williams heard footsteps.
Yeah, you got to catch that ball. He's a young guy. He's an undrafted rookie free agent. Had tremendous production at Colorado State with 96 receptions, over 1,300 yards. Wasn't drafted. And Brian Flores talked about when he watched his tape, looking at the undrafted guys, how excited he was to be able to get a guy like Preston Williams, who had that kind of production. But you need him to make that catch, get you in a manageable situation on 3rd down.
3 tight ends now for the Dolphins on 3rd down. 3rd and 7. Dolphins 4 for 5 on 3rd down opportunities. Pressure's coming. Rosen just throws it up to the end zone, and it's incomplete. He had to get rid of it, and he's fortunate that it went out of bounds. That's a dangerous ball.
Yeah, they had 3 guys blocking Bosa on that play, trying to allow Josh Rosen to have time.
Well, Sanders is on for a long field goal attempt. 50 yards.
You know, it would have been a 55-yarder for the Chargers. They don't have Michael Badgley, the normal kicker, so they didn't ask long to do that. Here you go, similar field goal, 50 yards. You have your kicker. That can be the difference in games.
Yeah, Sanders, 50 yards was as long last year, 54 this year. Long with the hold, high snap, handled well, and the kick is no good. Off to the right, we remain tied at 10. So it'll be brought back to the spot of a kick.
Sanders missed a big kick against the Cowboys last week, has an opportunity to give the Dolphins the lead, and he misses again.
Our blimp shot, you can't tell by that shot right there, but guess what? It's raining here at Miami Gardens. It may rain for a few moments and then zip away. We'll see what kind of an impact it has, if any. Culkin's in motion on first down from the 40. 3 timeouts left for the Chargers. Eckler breaks away from a defender, gets close to midfield. Taco Charlton with the tackle. No Melvin Gordon yet. You know, we went back and forth in the meetings yesterday, Jay. How much would he play? We thought maybe 15 plays. We thought maybe 20. Then it seemed like he was going to play a lot. Then today, it didn't seem like he was going to play a whole lot.
All the injuries on offense, that's what led us to believe that he would get some opportunities.
Second down and 2. Here's Eckler again. And Eckler has stood up. Maybe a half yard. It'll be third down.
The longer this game goes and stays close like this, the inability to run the ball so far, 10 carries, 32 yards for that offense, the more you, as an offensive coordinator and a head coach, think, hey, I got this stud sitting here on the sidelines that led our team last year, that was one of the best running backs in the NFL, that led him in rushing, that was second receiving. You know, you get tempted to put him in. They just want to make sure that they don't hurt him right now, coming back too quickly, and then lose him now for a big chunk of the season.
Third down and 1. They're going to run it again, and Eckler right through the middle has a first down. He moves the pile close to the 48-yard line. With 2:20 to play here in the first half. Eckler is out. Pope is coming in as we are heading toward the 2-minute warning, and it seems like Phillip Rivers is content to go to the 2-minute warning.
Sure, and he's got 3 timeouts, so the clock isn't a concern. You want to try to go down and score and use up as much of that clock as possible.
Well, I think everybody's a little shocked the way this game has gone. It's a 10-10 game here in Miami. Tuesday, the Chargers teamed up with Tyson Foods for the 3rd straight year, along with the kids from the Carson High School football team. First and 10 with the 2-minute warning. 47-yard line. Pass underneath to Eckler. And Eckler has a first down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line.
Eckler and Justin Jackson have been splitting time so far this year, with Justin Jackson out today with injury. You figured Eckler would have a big game. Had a huge game in week 1. 58 yards rushing and a touchdown, 96 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, and such a weapon out of that backfield. Thought it was really interesting. And he talked about a couple weeks ago when I did his Detroit game how tight that running back room was between Eckler, Jackson, and Gordon.
Eckler's out. Pope is in the backfield. That's Inman, who sweeps to the near side, and it's Pope who's tracked down from behind. Avery Moss makes the tackle. It's a gain of maybe 1 on the play. It'll be second down. Clock continues to run. Again, 3 timeouts left for the Chargers.
Plenty of time for the Chargers. Don't need to be in a hurry at all. If you're Miami, you start thinking about, hey, do we call timeouts here? Try and give Josh Rosen time to get down the field.
There's Ty Long. He's the punter, but he's also now the place kicker, because Michael Badgley's been dealing with a groin injury, inactive today.
There's Keenan Allen in the slot.
Slot to the right. In motion was Davis, lined up to the left. Off the play fake. Rivers to throw. Throws to the right. He's throwing it away. Intended for Allen. It'll be third down.
Keenan Allen arguing. He wanted a call there. Came off with his slow release and then try to set the DB up. He doesn't know which way he's going to go. Try to come and run a little out route.
By the way, the Dolphins defense has played so well today. I mean, normally they've been on the field in pass games more than anybody else in the NFL. Clock stop, 1:04 to play on third down. Play clock down to 5. Pressure's coming from the near side. Rivers throws to his left. Pass is complete to his left. Andre Patton, the receiver from Rutgers, has the first down with 51 seconds and counting to play.
Good job by that offensive line, giving Phillip Rivers time and allowing Patton to get all the way across the field.
It'll be a first down, a timeout called. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from AT&T. 2 timeouts left for the Chargers, 50 seconds left. Pope is in the ball game. Eckler is split out to the far side. Again, we've got the whole first half without Melvin Gordon.
There's Keenan Allen there. Xavier Howard in off coverage.
Rivers asks for Eckler to come in motion. Rivers steps up, throws on the run, has Eckler on the near sideline. Eckler breaks a tackle toward the pylon. Touchdown Chargers! With 43 seconds left here in the first half.
What an excellent play by Phillip Rivers. Both touchdowns today have come because of Phillip Rivers' feet. Drawing the defense in, he steps up in the pocket. You think he's going to run. You start to collapse. Watch Phillip Rivers here. Waiting, stepping up in the pocket. The defense starts to come to him and then just flicks it out to Austin Eckler, who does a nice job making a move and getting into the end zone. But because Phillip Rivers stepped up in the pocket, the defense took their eyes off the receivers, collapsed to him, and Eckler's touchdown and Pope's touchdown have both come because of Phillip Rivers' feet.
18-yard pass play, longs on for the point after. Good hold by Tyrod Taylor. The point after is good. It is 17-10. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance. Austin Eckler with his 3rd receiving touchdown of the season. He's the first undrafted running back to post at least 3 receiving touchdowns in each of his pro years. Nifty footwork, too.
Remember, I talked about that earlier. Just his low center of gravity, the ability to run through arm tackles. You got to come in and bring the wood and hit him. And even though he's not a big back, he's strong and he runs through arm tackles.
Keith Brad is back deep to receive this kickoff. And he's coming out of the end zone. Breaks one tackle, spins away from another, and he's up to the 23. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Reports. All right, so what do you think for the Dolphins now? 37 seconds left. They have 3 timeouts. They've played a very good first half. They just can't make a mistake here.
Well, they did make a mistake when Jason Sanders missed the field goal on the last drive. Try to get down. You want Josh Rosen to be smart. The only thing you don't want is to turn the ball over. If it's there, take it. If not, let's go to halftime.
Bosa's lined up on the left side of the defensive line. Nwosu on the right side. They hand it off to Drake. And Drake out of bounds up to the 28-yard line. Gain of 6 yards.
You need about 40 yards to get into field goal range.
Well, the clock stops, 32 seconds left. See if Rosen can answer Rivers' drive and score.
He's 8 for 12 today, 117 yards, has played well. Hasn't thrown any bad balls. When he's had open receivers, he's hit him, and that offensive line has done a pretty good job against a good defensive front.
Yeah, without Melvin Ingram, who's out with a hamstring injury, returns questionable. Grant out of bounds up to the 35.
Just an excellent job by Grant, dipping it in, and then knowing he's got to get back outside, picking up a few yards, keeping all 3 timeouts, and getting out of bounds.
All right, so the target line to the Chargers' 37-yard line.
That'd be a 55-yard field goal. He just missed a 50-yard field goal. Has plenty of leg. He had a 54 going that way in the first game of the season against Baltimore.
His career long. It's first down. The 34. 27 seconds left. 3 timeouts still for the Dolphins. Rosen steps up, throws to the far side. It's complete to Parker. And Parker out of bounds right at the marker. Boy, that was a good decision to speed up to the marker and get out.
So you've been conservative up to this point, but now let's go. Let's try to get down there and get points. We have 3 timeouts, so the entire field is wide open. You can go down the middle. You're not thinking sideline necessarily here. You're just thinking, let's get another 15, 20 yards and get a field goal attempt before halftime.
Yeah, that's the key. They have all of their timeouts left. It's a world of time for Rosen. 10 of 14, 135 yards in the first half. He has time again to the near side for Parker, and he's got it. Now he's in bounds. They can call a timeout, and they do as they mark it to the 43-yard line.
Miami went max protection, kept everybody in, allow Josh Rosen the time, only had 2 men out in the route, And Josh Rosen has a nice throw there. You can see the arm strength that he has to be able to throw to the sideline, get a good completion.
All right, so Sanders has missed a field goal today, but he also missed one last week, a 47-yarder in the first half against the Cowboys.
And when you're playing games like this as a young team trying to find a way to win, you can't afford to miss field goals. The same 2 misses right there.
Almost identical. So what's he doing differently? Well, what's he got to do differently?
What he needs to tell himself, don't worry about the results, focus on the process. You focus on the fundamentals, the things that are going to help you to make this kick. They still need, you'd like to get about another 10 yards here.
And again, they still have 2 timeouts left. 14 seconds to play. Pressure's coming. Rosen dancing around. He better get rid of it. He's taken down. It'll be a sack. Joey Bosa got his hand around him.
Brian Flores is furious, threw his headset down there, and rightly so. The one thing you can't do if you're Josh Rosen is take a sack. If it's not there, throw it away. Don't take a sack. Now you need about 12 yards to get in and just even have a field goal attempt.
Gus Bradley told us yesterday about Joey Bosa, who's returning home here to the Miami area. He's from Fort Lauderdale. He said that he's very gifted with his hands and his hips.
Well, they talked about how good he looked in training camp this year. That they saw one look at him and said, okay, we got Joey Bosa, the healthy Joey Bosa back. There was a distinct difference. You haven't seen the production. He's gotten after it, but because teams are max protecting against him, Miami here needs to get down and get another 10 yards.
10 yards, okay. The ball's at the 47.
Still have a timeout, so you can go to the middle of the field.
Looks like there may have been movement on the right side. Nothing called. Rosen throws to the near side. Passes caught by Parker, and he's out of bounds at the 34-yard line with 3 seconds left to play in the first half.
Excellent job by Devontae Parker coming back to the ball, securing it, going down, making the catch. He's got his arms underneath the ball, and you did a great job if you're Josh Rosen, even though you took the sack, bringing them all the way down the field and giving your field goal kicker an opportunity to make a field goal here before halftime.
All right, so we mentioned it. Sanders has missed one already today. He'll set up from the near hash mark. This will be a 52-yarder. His career long is 54.
Yeah, very little wind here. Good conditions. As a kick, as an NFL kicker, you should make.
Matt Hawk, the punter, is the holder. And now the Chargers will call a timeout.
Timeout. Chargers. Their second. 30-second timeout.
What is Anthony Lynn pointing at right now? He seems to be
didn't like
that
they continued with the snap, the hold, and the kick. But I always did that. I always told our snappers, if they're going to call timeout right before we kick, snap it. Let me hit it. Let me see if the wind does anything. It gives you, I always equate it to a golfer. If you give me 2 putts of the ball and the second one's going to count, I have a much better chance of making that second one. But as a young kicker, if I were a head coach, I would always call the timeout to ice that young kicker, because sometimes time can be a dreaded commodity. They don't know what to do with their mind. Their mind begins to wander. You start to think about the implications of what you're doing, your job security. I just missed a kick. I missed one last week. I got to make this kick. Those are the things you can't allow yourself to do as a kicker.
All right, so here we go. It's a 7-point lead for the Chargers. This is a 52-yard field goal attempt for Jason Sanders. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way. It was nearly blocked. And he missed it again to the right. His second miss of the first half. That's the end of the first half. Chargers 17, Dolphins 10. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. On top 17-10 as we get set for the third quarter to get underway. This is how they took the 17-10 lead. We take a look at our first half highlight presented by DirecTV. They rolled Phillip Rivers in and out, and then Eckler with the reception and the bounce. That was an 18-yard touchdown reception. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Jay Feely. More entertaining first half than we anticipated.
Yeah,
a couple missed field goals by the Dolphins.
Yeah, and that's what stood out. I think both quarterbacks played well. Phillip Rivers moving the defense with his feet, the savvy veteran quarterback, and then making plays. Josh Rosen throwing the ball well, moving his team. You see 197 total yards, 154 through the air, but they did miss 2 field goals.
All right, so the statistics, you see the penalties. That's a lot of penalties right there. The Dolphins had a score early. Rosen's been really good in this first half.
Beautiful play. Look at the protection that offensive line gave him. I love this look right here. Not a lot for Josh Rosen to see, but he knows that Devontae Parker won on the double move, a perfect ball, and they get the touchdown in the early lead.
There is Josh Rosen, who has to be happy with the way he played in this first half. Phillip Rivers has not seen Melvin Gordon at all in this first half. And Jay, I don't know if I'm surprised by that or not surprised by that when it comes to Melvin Gordon not playing. I guess we just roll with whatever they decide.
It would only have been by necessity. That's the only way they were going to play him. They don't want to have to play him because they don't want to risk the injury. We both kind of felt because of all the injuries they would have to, but they've been able to move the ball. They've been able to score points.
Well, the Dolphins will get the football to begin the second half. And Grant is wrapped up from behind. And he gets up close to the 18-yard line. All right, so Josh Rosen, 12 of 16 in the first half for 159 yards and a touchdown. Anything different from him in the second half?
No, if we gave Chad O'Shea or Brian Flores those numbers in our pregame meetings and said, hey, this is what Josh Rosen's going to do in the first half, they would have been thrilled with that. Continue to use tempo, continue to try to get the ball out quick, and then take shots down the field.
Kenyon Drake, 6 carries, 33 yards. He was used a lot in the first quarter, not as much in the second quarter, but he's in the backfield. And here is Drake. Drake trying to get to the edge. And a stiff arm up to the 25-yard line. Melvin Ingram out with a hamstring injury in the first half. We doubt we'll see him the rest of the way. That's a burden.
Huge. And what that allows the Miami offensive line to do is focus on Joey Bosa. They can slide their protection towards him. They can focus their double teams there. And it allows you to not have to continue to do it to 2 guys. You don't have Ingram on one side and Bosa on the other. You can focus just on Joey Bosa.
That's a little different look in the first half. He doesn't even have his pads on. And it's a first down run and a fumble. Kenyon Drake fumbled the ball. He got up to the 31-yard line. He's saying he's down on the ground. The Dolphins say they have the football anyway.
Either way, Brian Flores is not going to be happy. He talked to us about Kenyon Drake, and he said he can run the ball well. He just has to hold on to it.
Well, this is not a good sign for the Chargers. Nwosu is very slow to get up.
Here's Drake. It's hard to see whether his knee was down before that ball came out, but he had a big fumble against Dallas last week. The Dolphins are going in, trying to take the lead before halftime. He spins, fumbles the ball at the 5-yard line, and they don't get any points.
That was Justin Jones who stripped it out. Bame fell on top of it for the Dolphins.
Nwosu slid over and kind of took Melvin Ingram's place. So if Nwosu is banged up and can't go, you see him going off the sidelines. He looks all right, but that would be another big loss for this Chargers defense.
Mark Walton is back in. Drake is out. It is a first down for the Dolphins. 1 minute into the third quarter. Walton up the middle, and Walton bounces close to the 40-yard line. Perryman makes the tackle.
This Chargers team has been outscored 55-16 after halftime. The Colts came out. They were able to run the ball. 173 yards, 2 touchdowns in the second half. The Lions came back, won that game in the second half. The Texans came back last week. So this is the test. This is what Anthony Lynn told me before the game. It's on the coaches. It's on the players. When we have a team down, we have to be able to put them away, and we have to be able to learn how to finish games.
Yeah, the cliche is the finishing part of it, but that is so true for the Chargers. Walton's hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked back. That's a loss of nearly 2 on the play. Perryman again in on the play for the Chargers.
It's nice for the Chargers to have Perryman back from his ankle injury. Played 37 snaps against the Texans. He's a downhill, fiery kind of player. Plays with a ton of energy. A really nice complement with Thomas Davis.
It'll be 3rd down and 4 for Rosen. Started 3 for 3, 1 for their last 3. Pumps to the left. Now he's going to run it, and he's in trouble.
Excellent recognition by the Chargers defense. They tried to run the screen. Josh Rosen saw that it wasn't there, had to tuck the ball and run, and the Chargers get a much-needed stop coming out at halftime.
Well, give credit to Thomas Davis, who told us yesterday that it's been way better for him as the games have gone on because it's a different defense than Carolina.
That's right. Completely different defense. He had to have more patience that first game, even though he had 14 tackles. A lot of them were downfield, and in Carolina, he was much more of a downhill linebacker. He could see it and explode. This defense, he has to read and react a lot more.
Kick back deep to receive this punt. It's a wobbler. calls for the fair catch. It goes over his head.
No, he should have caught that ball.
Yeah. It's inside the 10, kicked at the 6.
It's going to cost him about 20 yards just because he didn't go up and make the fair catch.
Walt Aikens was there to recover it. It'll be spotted at the 7-yard line of Los Angeles. Turns out to be a good punt for Hawk, but a bad decision. We'll be back. Chargers get their first possession when we return. Well, there's Desmond King, who let the punt go over his head, and it moves the ball inside the 10-yard line.
He got beat by Devontae Parker in the first half. It's been a tough game for him.
Phillip Rivers has had a good game. He's 16 of 20 for 197 yards. He's got Eckler and Watt in the backfield. Watt is the blocker. And Eckler may have gotten a yard. All right, Jay, let's look at this fair catch again.
Well, it wasn't a hard ball to catch. I think Desmond King must have lost this ball because you can see it bounces 3-4 yards away from him. And then he called a fair catch. He almost went to block there. That would have been a penalty as well. It wasn't called, but a poor decision cost his team about 20 yards.
See, this is what Jay was talking about. First half, the point differential, the top 5. Second half, minus 35 coming into this ball game. That's incredible. Colton in motion. Hand off to Eckler. Oh, man, was he stood up. What a hit. Raekwon McMillan. Forward progress might give him a yard.
Tom, there's been a lot of questions here in Miami about why Raekwon McMillan is not playing more in this defense. Continues to play very solid against the run. Woo.
Well, he's off, as you said. He comes off a lot in passing situations. This is a true passing situations. Hope is in the backfield for the Chargers.
We had the second worst grade last year against the pass. That's why they take him off.
Rivers from his goal line throws to the near side. Inman got some separation against Rowe, and he's got a first down up to the 23-yard line.
Nice release by Dontrell Inman. Looking down the field, Phillip Rivers comes back for him. He breaks the route outside. Really good catch. There he is, trying to channel his inner Keenan Allen, leaning in on the DB to create space, and they go back outside.
What did Ken Wisenhunt say to us? He goes, he's got to step up big today. He's got a couple of receptions already. 2 for 28.
Well, that was a big one there. Get the first down, continue this drive.
Eckler following Watt. Watt gave him the edge. And a flag comes in as he up across the 30-yard line, close to the 32. Stephen Parker made the tackle. There's Melvin Gordon. Still has not played today. Doesn't look like he's going to play at this point. They moved the flag back to the 23-yard line. It looks like it's going to go against the Chargers. That'll negate the run. I don't know if it was a hold on Watt.
Personal foul, blindside block, offense number 13. This penalty assessed half the distance to the goal and repeat first down.
Frustrating for Keenan Allen. So Anthony Lynn's team moves forward. Now they step back.
Here's Keenan Allen coming back inside. When you come back inside from outside, you can't come in and make contact to the head of the neck area. That's what they call.
Yeah, McMillan was not looking at that point. Eckler's a receiver. Pope is in the backfield on first and long. Pope, and not much there. Boy, good job by the Dolphins defense. I mean, think about this. They came in 16th in the AFC as far as yardage goes.
The Chargers did. The Dolphins struggled mightily in their first 3 games. They were last in points, last in rushing yards, last in passing yards. Patrick Graham, their defensive coordinator,
who's still upset about Seton Hall losing the national championship game to Michigan in basketball some years ago.
He broke it down for me.
Second down at 21. Rivers throws to the slot. Pass is complete to Keenan Allen, and Allen curls up to the 32. A yard shy of the first down. McMillan in on the coverage, a gain of 20.
A good job by Phillip Rivers. Just layering this ball in there. Looking at Keenan Allen the entire way. Right over the linebacker. Such a great understanding of football. The defenses and where to go with the ball.
I don't think Phillip Rivers is happy that he couldn't just get up and go. He is barking at Tony Correnti. He's going to use a timeout. And he asked for the timeout. The Dolphins are kind of taunting him from the defensive line.
That's Phillip Rivers. He'll get fiery and he'll chirp back and forth.
30-second timeout.
7:51 to play in the third quarter. 37 years old. He wants to get things rolling. He wants the umpire out of the way. Look at that.
Anytime the offense substitutes, the defense has the right to substitute as well. And the umpire is going to stand in there and not allow him to snap the ball until the defenses have their opportunity.
All right, so we asked Phillip Rivers, we said, at 37, do you still like it? And he said, I love the competition of being out there on the football field. He loves that part of it right there.
For sure. And we talked to him about Tom Brady and how Tom Brady has talked about the game gets easier as you get older. And if your body allows you to, why would you not keep playing? He said, I feel the exact same way, although he said, I'm just taking it year by year.
Right. Third down and 1. Do they change the play they were going to use, you think?
A big play for this Dolphins defense here. If they can try and get a stop and force a punt.
Ball's up to the 32-yard line. Inman in motion. Eckler, and he's got the first down up to the 35 and more. He dives forward. They'll mark him at the 39-yard line. That's a gain of 7.
Really good job by Trent Scott. Dan Feeney right here, the left side of this line, blocking, creating a hole. Right there for Eckler to come through. Nice little cutback behind Scott.
Well, we told you the Dolphins defense had done a nice job on the run game so far in this game. 45 yards total for the Chargers. They allow 200 per game on average. But that was a good run by Eckler.
Yeah, after a game which Dallas had 235 yards rushing.
There's Eckler again, and Eckler snakes his way up to the 44. Saturday, it's the best game from the best conference as 7th-ranked Auburn rushes into Gainesville, hoping to take the bite out of the 9th-ranked Gators and their rejuvenated offense led by Kyle Trask. It all starts with college football today at 3 Eastern, the SEC on CBS. Eckler getting a breather. Pope is in.
Coaches told us that Pope had an excellent training camp. They were pretty confident in his ability.
Off the play fake of the high snap. Rivers near side, and a catch is made inside the 45-yard line by Inman. He stepped in front of Rowe again.
Excellent route there by Inman. Covered by Rowe. Snaps it off outside, creates great separation. Boom. Quickly snaps it off outside. Phillip Rivers is on time. Excellent pass and catch.
Yeah, gain of 9 yards. Rivers now 19 of 23, 243 yards. Inman 3 catches for 39 yards. Eckler and Allen lead the way as far as receiving goes. Pope inside the 40 before he's tackled at the 38-yard line. Rashad Jones. All right, we talked about pass distribution in the open, how important it was, and you know we're seeing it from Phillip Rivers.
And they had to find somebody else. You can see 4 receptions, 5 targets for Keenan Allen. He had the big touchdown reception, called back an offensive pass interference. But you go back to last week, he had 17 targets, 13 receptions, 183 yards. He was the offense, and they knew it. They said it to us in the meetings. We have to spread the ball around. We can't continue to just go to Keenan Allen.
Receivers overall. Here's Eckler on the end around, and Eckler poking with a block that freed him up for a first down of the 34.
One of the things that'll help them moving forward now with Melvin Gordon back is he had 50 receptions for almost 500 yards last year, as well as 885 yards rushing. So he's a viable option in that passing game, and the ability to use him out of the backfield and get him the ball will certainly help this Chargers offense.
Well, they're moving the ball now. There is Melvin Gordon. We weren't sure if he would play. They alluded to the fact that they would like it to be in an emergency situation. So Eckler's getting most of the reps with Pope. Pope is in the backfield now. And he'll get the run. Stepped inside nicely for a gain of maybe one. Raekwon McMillan, Christian Wilkins, both in on the tackle.
A nice play there by Christian Wilkins, their first-round pick, getting off the block, coming up, making a solid hit. He drew the fury of Brian Flores earlier in the game when he got the 15-yard penalty.
From Clemson, big moment last year when he took Trevor Lawrence out to breakfast after he was named the starter, just to bring the whole Clemson team together. This will be the 12th play of the drive. On second down from the 34. Rivers to the right. Eckler's got it in the first down. And Eckler inside the 20 and out of bounds close to the 17. Rashad Jones in on the coverage. Let's go to JB and Nate for an update from Buffalo.
A first against the Patriots.
That's right. The first offensive TD that the Patriots have given up. Josh Allen goes up and over the top. That is a TD. They close the gap. The Patriots still lead 13-10.
Boy, I wish I had the voice of the Phillies guy, Tom McCarthy.
Well, thank you, JB. The Bills off to a 3-0 start. First time since 2011. We saw them last week. They are a good team.
Excellent defense, and if they can keep their young quarterback from throwing interceptions, they're a tough team to beat.
2 of the first half. First down for Phillips in the red zone. Hands it off to Pope. And that play just didn't develop from the beginning.
Excellent job getting to the ball for Patrick Graham's defense. He told us the whole key in the run game, stopping the run, was to set the edge outside and then pursuit to the ball. It's exactly what you saw there.
Kind of neat. You saw Jerome Baker, and he was signaling from his linebacker position before he made that tackle. You saw where his eyes were the entire time.
It's a really young team. Second youngest team in the NFL. Jerome Baker, only a second-year player. And he was named captain, voted captain by his team. That says a lot.
The clock is down under 5, and Rivers is going to have to use another timeout. Second timeout of this drive. 17-10, Chargers on top. We'll be back right after this. Let's take a look at the game snapshot presented by Progressive Insurance. Josh Rosen's been good. He found Devontae Parker for a first half touchdown. Hope and Eckler have been good also for the Chargers. What hasn't been good for the Dolphins? Sanders. He's missed 2 field goals today. It would be a 1-point game. But as we look at our game summary, 317 total yards for the Chargers, 215 for the Dolphins. Time of possession starting to leak toward the Chargers side. That's a big deal for the Dolphins. 2
good drives for the Chargers here in the second half. And you look at Philip Rivers and what he did on his 2 touchdown passes, both to his running backs, Pope and Eckler. They both started with his legs. Buying time, one time out wide to his left, get the defense to commit, and then flick it to Pope, and then stepping up into the middle, allowing that defense to collapse, and then throwing it out to Eckler.
Melvin Gordon has his helmet on. This is the first time he's had his helmet on today. He's not been out on the field at all.
Maybe wishful thinking.
He's probably trying to...
He wanted to play. Yeah, he told me that before the game.
Trying to plant a seed into Anthony Lynn's head. It's Pope in the backfield on second down. Off the play fake, Rivers, he's in trouble, and he sacks. Taco Charlton had a sack last week and has one this week.
A new Dolphin with his second sack. University of Michigan product, was a first-round pick. Watch him come right around the end. Just beat the tight end. It's a tough ask for Sean Culkin to block Taco Charlton one-on-one. A nice move, and then Philip Rivers didn't see him. Wasn't able to get rid of that ball, and now you have 3rd and long.
It's 11 sacks now against Rivers this year. Eckler's back in. It's 3rd down and 19. Rivers to throw on 3rd down and long. He zips it to the far side, broke it up. Intended for Andre Patton. Kenny Webster breaks it up.
One of the things that Ken Whisenhunt loves to do is crossing routes. They tried to bring a crossing route all the way across. Really good job defensively breaking that up. And in the first half, they passed up a 50-yard field goal for long going this way. This one's going to be about 45 yards. He told me before the game last week he was coaching Tyrod Taylor, who just started holding week 1. He was literally coaching him on the field.
I think he's been doing that today. Snap is held well by Taylor. Kick is on its way, and it is a bullet.
I mean, here's a guy who's a punter, steps in, is kicking for his team, making field goals. The Dolphins kicker, who is a kicker, missing field goals. That's part of the difference.
Coverage of today's game is provided by Goodyear. Nice to have a Goodyear blimp with us. Some great shots. Longest drive this season in time and plays for the Chargers. 16 plays, 67 yards, 10 minutes and 33 seconds.
Phillip Rivers told us he was going to have to be more patient today. He didn't think those chunk plays that they've been able to hit. They're one of the best so far in the NFL at hitting chunk plays. 19 plays over 20 yards coming into this game. Second most in the NFL, just behind the Chiefs.
Here's Grant, 4 yards deep. Will try to return it. Grant trying to get to the edge. He is to the edge. He's got some daylight. And he's out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Tony Correnti threw a flag, though, back at about the 15.
And they ran a bounce return. Cardinal sin when you're covering kicks is to not have contain on the outside. They let Grant get around the corner, but I think this one's coming back.
Five penalties now for the Dolphins. It's a 35-yard return.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team number 81. Penalties assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
Durham Smythe called for the hold. 1:15 to play. Let's go to JB in New York. Giants scored.
Rookie mistake.
That's right. Dwayne Haskins dropping back, trying to go over the middle of the field. And Jabril Peppers, he slides in front of that ball. He picks it off. And that right there is the 32-yard pick six. The Giants, they're up big, 24-3.
Back to Tom and Jay.
A little Michigan on Ohio State crime there.
Here's Rosen who throws it over the head of Drake. He was under pressure and had to get rid of it. And he's helped up by his teammate. Joey Bosa, Brandon Mebane in on the pressure.
For the most part today, he hasn't been under pressure. He's had a pretty good pocket. That play just took too long to develop. Josh Rosen has to see, is it there on field? No, let me get it out to my outlet route, get it to my running back. Drake has had a pretty good game other than putting that ball on the ground. He's had 47 yards rushing. They need to continue to run the ball. You're only down 10.
You can't panic and change your game plan. They do run the ball. Drake is hit in the backfield. That slowed him a little bit. Now he's pushed back from the 5-yard line. They'll mark him at the 6. Unfortunately, it looks like there's another Charger that's down on the field. Nwosu made the tackle for the Chargers. He's credited with the tackle. That's Denzel Perryman. We'll be back right after this. Just got a thumbs up from Denzel Perryman as he got up off his feet. He's going into the tent. It looked like he bent his neck back or his head back.
Yeah, when he made the tackle, he came in with his head first. It was really good to see him get up, walk off, give us the thumbs up.
Yep. And now it's 3rd down for the Dolphins, 3rd and 12.
Josh Rosen, you can't make a critical error here.
3 receivers to the near side from his end zone. He's in trouble. He gets out, now rolls to the near side. He's still in his end zone and is thrown down right at the goal line.
Well, he's lucky it wasn't a safety, but get rid of the ball. You actually had a receiver open on the sideline. He didn't throw it, and then he takes the hit and almost took a safety. Plenty of time for Josh Rosen to get rid of the ball. Oh, and he fumbles it. Excellent play there by Desmond King, who we talked about earlier, got beat by Devontae Parker, but get rid of the ball, Josh.
And that is the end of the third quarter with the score. Chargers 20, Dolphins 10. We'll return to Miami after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Dolphins will punt this football away. We're going to get back to that last play.
Yeah, we're looking. I'm watching the sideline to see if the Chargers challenge it, but they don't.
They have one timeout left. That may be the reason. Here's King. King on the far side. And King inside the 40. Now, we were talking to Gene Steratore. There is a flag down. We were talking to Gene Steratore during our break. He mentioned that was a challengeable play because it was a scoring play, potential scoring play because of the safety.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 35. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Let's look at the last play. Rosen tackled by King. He was along the goal line the whole time.
Yeah, here's where he should have got rid of the ball, and he had receivers open. He doesn't get rid of it. King hits the ball, knocks it out, and he has contact with it. And any part of that ball touches the line, that's a safety.
Gene Steratore, you're with us now. What do you think, Gene?
I am, Tommy, and what you said and Jay alluded to is right. Now, as soon as Rosen possesses that ball, he is in contact with the Charger defender. So the moment he's possessing that, he's down by contact by rule.
And you wonder if it's because they have one timeout left, if that's why the Chargers didn't challenge it at that point. There's a throw by Rivers. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, that was one of the points I was looking at as I looked to see that the Chargers only had one timeout remaining in the game. But you know what, guys? Those are points on the board and a gigantic play if they review that and make it a safety.
If they thought they could get a safety there, I believe they would have reviewed it. They would have gotten the points. They would have gotten the ball back. A nice back shoulder fade there by Phillip Rivers.
Moves the ball to the 31. Gene, thank you. We appreciate it as always. It was a great point that Gene made. They mark it at the 31-yard line of the Dolphins. Just underway, fourth quarter. Chargers 20, Dolphins 10. Along with Jay Feely, I'm Tom McCarthy. Austin Eckler. And Eckler is down at the 29. Eric Rowe, Rashad Jones make the tackle for the Dolphins.
Chargers had so many injuries coming into this game. Mike Williams and Travis Benjamin, their two receivers, down. Green and Hunt Henry, their two tight ends, down. Their backup running back, Justin Jackson, down. They lose Ingram. So with all that being said, to have a 20-10 lead, to be driving the ball here, you're in field goal range already. You haven't had to play Melvin Gordon yet. Right now, Anthony Lynn's got to be pretty pleased with his team.
Yeah, because if you can keep Gordon out and have him go through a week of reps before your next game.
That's the scenario that you'd like to do.
On second down, Rivers to throw. Rivers middle of the field, and his pass is complete. And a flag comes in late. Boy, he was threading the needle to Inman. They'll mark him at the 16-yard line.
What a great catch by Inman. Going up in traffic, securing the ball. Now he's slow to get up.
Pass interference, defense number 25. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Xavier Howard in on the coverage, the one-on-one with Inman, who's limping off the field and now takes a knee.
I just brought up all the injuries that they had. The two receivers, the two tight ends. Can't afford many more injuries.
So we'll take a break as they take a look at Inman. Chargers up by 10. Staff is tending to Dontrell Inman. They took a look at the knee. He shook his head, took his gloves off, and now he just slapped down at the table.
He's had a really good game. 5 catches, 76 yards. Stepped up the way Phillip Rivers said he had to step up, and it's tough to see him go down.
Rivers on the doorstep of another 300-yard game. High formation. Watt is the fullback off the play fake. Rivers lobs it to Culkin, who's got it. Inside the 5-yard line, they mark him at the 4.
You just said to me in the break they got to get Culkin a catch.
He's been in on a number of plays, and now he may be hurt.
Culkin was wide open. Should have been a touchdown. Did a great job just slipping him out of the back. Yeah, you see he gets up limping and falls down.
It's almost as if he had a cramp when he went up to make that reception.
Might have pulled his calf.
Ugh. Well, Rivers again up over 300 yards. Fourth straight 300-yard game versus Miami for Rivers. 65th of his career, which is 4th all time. He told us of Culkin, he said, I would picture him as a guy who would play for a long time because he's smart, he's tough, he's all over the place. He said during preseason camp, he said his feet were blistered everywhere and he just kept on playing.
Yeah, just one of those consummate pros. Whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do. Tough to see him get hurt there. Man, that has been the story of the year.
Incredible.
For the Chargers. You look at the injuries they've had now on both sides of the ball. First it was defensively in the secondary with Derwin James, Phillips going down, and now this week it's been offensively.
First and goal from inside the 5. Eckler, he's the only one to run the ball inside the 5 this year for the Chargers, and he pounds the pile forward to the 3. He carries 46 yards for Eckler. He also has 62 yards receiving, and now another injured player on the field. It's a Dolphins player, so an injury timeout. Well, fourth quarter, hot day. That's Avery Moss, the second-year pro from Youngstown State.
Former Giants player, 5th-round pick of the Giants. Brian Flores said he's a tough, smart player for them.
$12:19 to play in the fourth quarter. It's the Chargers 20 and the Dolphins 10. We understand Dontrell Inman is his quad, so he is questionable to return.
Culkin went off. Perryman's questionable to return. He's in the concussion protocol. Ingram went off earlier in the game. We haven't seen him back.
Coming up next, it's game 2 of our doubleheader, and most of you will be headed to Chicago, where Khalil Mack and the Bears will be on the prowl when they host their NFC rivals from the north, the Minnesota Vikings, here on CBS. How good of a year is he having right now for the Bears? I mean, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just unblockable. He's so much fun to watch. There's a few players defensively that are must-see TV. He's certainly one of them.
All right, so Moss is off the field. Eckler in the backfield on 2nd and goal from the 3. Derek Watt, he's in motion for the Chargers.
There's Keenan Allen lined up, man-to-man coverage.
Rivers dumps it off. He's got Allen, holds the ball with one hand, going to the pylon. He's knocked out of bounds, close to the 1-yard line.
Really creative play by Ken Wisenhunt. All game long, they've been bringing him behind the line of scrimmage. They bring him this way, and then he flips right back out. Try to get Keenan Allen the ball in space. Pretty good job by Xavier Howard recognizing that, getting back out there and pushing him out of bounds.
Inside the 1-yard line. Eligible downman Sam Tevy, number 69, and I think Rivers might have to use another timeout.
That's it.
They are out of timeouts.
Timeout. Chargers, their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
The NFL is celebrating its 100th season, and throughout the year we'll revisit some of the great moments. How about this one? Today we look at the epic in Miami. Chandler, beautiful reception there. Here's the hook and ladder. It's the first time we ever saw this. The Chargers jumped out to a 24-0 lead. That was a beautiful pass play to Brooks. Rolf Bernerska with his field goal, 29 yards, and that gave the Chargers a 41-38 win. I saw Dan Fouts talking about that. He said his offensive line was great. He said Kellen Winslow was unbelievable. That was an epic game.
That's the iconic picture, him getting carried off the field.
Yeah.
That play was originally called circle curl lateral. Got renamed the hook and lateral, and that's the first time you ever saw it. What an unbelievable game that was.
All right, so they're inside the 1-yard line. Tevy is an eligible receiver, number 69. And now a timeout called by Brian Flores because the personnel was not on the field that needed to be on the field for the Dolphins.
They're first.
Boy, these last 5 minutes have taken like an hour.
Well, that's where as a head coach you're really frustrated. They had to call timeout, so you come to the sidelines, you get to talk about what you expect. then you have confusion and you got to waste a timeout. You're sitting here, you're down 10. You need a stop here desperately on third down to stay in the game, to keep it from being 27-10. And then now you got to waste a timeout.
Is this 2-down territory for the Chargers, you think, if they don't get it here?
You know, you're up 10, so if you kick a field goal, you're up 13. I could see them going for it. If I'm a head coach, I believe that this offense isn't going to be able to drive the length of the field, so I would go for it knowing that, hey, if we don't get it, they're backed up. The likelihood that they go down and score is minimal from inside the 5-yard line.
All right, so the ball inside the 1. It's 3rd and goal. That's Allen in motion. Eckler with the handoff into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers. (26-10) Los Angeles. And Eckler has been a machine today. Makes you realize how good they're going to be when this guy comes back, because Eckler can do so many things.
Yeah, when they get Justin Jackson back as well, you got 3 guys that can run the ball, that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and that give Kevin Wisenhunt a lot of options. And they're happy here if they make this extra point go up 27-10 with all the injuries. I doubt we see Melvin Gordon.
Here's Long's point after, and it is good. It is 27-10. Austin Eckler with his 2nd touchdown of the day. Little power running. Super Bowl 44 10 seasons ago was the most recent Super Bowl here in this beautiful stadium. They've really done a nice job. They're going to host the Super Bowl this year. They've had 5 Super Bowls here. It'll be the first time that they'll have one with the place looking like this.
Certainly a different feel, and it has a completely different aura. You feel like you're in a different stadium.
Absolutely. Jakeem Grant back deep to receive. He'll return it from the goal line. And Grant, a sliver of daylight, gets across the 25. Jeremy Davis has been a busy man on special teams, makes the tackle for the Chargers. All right, so Josh Rosen now down 17. It feels like it's an insurmountable deficit.
It does, and once again, the Dolphins and Josh Rosen had a good first half, and then they've come out in the second half, and they haven't been able to move the ball and sustain drives. He had the mistake at the goal line that almost led to a safety. Had receivers, 2 receivers downfield open on that play, and he couldn't find him.
12 of 17, 159 yards, dumps it off to Drake. Up across the 30 to the 32-yard line, a short gain of 3. Good pursuit by Nwosu. Uchenna Nwosu is as talented an athlete as you will find on the football field.
And the thing that Gus Bradley loves, versatility. He can play linebacker, he can play defensive end, he can move him around.
That's the first completion of the second half for Josh Rosen. Remarkable to consider how he played in the first half. Makes sense, though, the way they haven't really moved the ball. That's intercepted on the near sideline. Michael Davis stepped in front of Williams and picked it off.
Josh Rosen had plenty of time. He had a clean pocket. He had a receiver open, and he stepped up and watched the ball. There's the interception. The ball comes out of Josh Rosen's hands weird. It comes out, and you can see how wobbly it is. Chad O'Shea told us he can't throw the ball to other people. That's the one thing that we've been talking about, being smart. You can see him staring down his receiver.
Williams was nowhere near that football.
No,
he was out of
bounds. Just a bad decision and a bad throw by Rosen.
Well, it's the 3rd interception of the year for the Chargers. It's the first of the day for Rosen. And now if you're Los Angeles, you have an opportunity to kind of chew up a lot of this clock, even though it's a short field. With Eckler in the backfield. Kendricks, the tight end, in motion. Eckler takes the handoff, steps inside, and down to the 45-yard line. Man's got some skills, doesn't he, Jay?
Yeah, you can slide him out of the backfield and get him the ball. He's got really good hands, runs through arm tackles. And then today, 17 carries, 51 yards. Not a ton of yards running the ball, but he's been sure with the ball in his hands, physical. Got a couple of touchdowns, and he's over 100 yards from scrimmage.
And Melvin Gordon is here. He's on the sidelines. We thought he might play a little bit. He hasn't played at all. But just to think what the Chargers will have moving forward with Eckler and Gordon. And there he is again. A hard run down close to the 35. Parker makes the tackle.
And the Chargers felt from day one that Eckler could come in as a starter and be efficient. He's certainly proven that he can do that. You know, the one big mistake he had was in the Lions game, the 1st and goal and the 1. He tries to go over in the 3rd quarter and score a touchdown, fumbles the ball. The Lions come back and beat the Chargers. But for the most part this year, he's proven that he can be an effective first down back. So now you have 2 of them, and now you can spell them, and now you don't have to go to Melvin Gordon and say, hey, you got to play the majority of the game. You can put these guys in different situations, have both backs in at the same time, and it gives Ken Wisenhunt a lot of ability to be creative.
Here's Pope, who's in for Eckler. Stiff arm. That got him a couple extra yards. He's down to the 31. All right, so now you have Phillip Rivers with under 9 to play. I mean, he's a master at this. You know, letting the play clock wind all the way down.
And what's really impressed me about Phillip Rivers today, look at his numbers real quietly, but 24 for 29, 310 yards. That's with all the injuries. That's without Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin, Hunter Henry, Virgil Green. He hasn't had his complement of weapons, but he's been able to be efficient, spread the ball around, understand the defense, go to the right player. That's what makes him so special.
And he still has found 9 different receivers today. That's Watt. Fullback with Pope as the tailback. And Pope is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Nothing there.
You know, the Dolphins defense, they play cover 1 45% of the time. That's 3rd highest in the NFL. You know, the Lions and the Patriots are the next 2, so all 3 Belichick guys. And for Phillip Rivers, when you kind of understand what a defense is doing, it's really, this has been a thinking game for him. He's been able to stand back there in the pocket and diagnose what the defense is doing, and then go to the right receiver and spread the ball around and be really effective moving the ball. And it hasn't been chunk plays. It's been small, smart, effective plays.
Ken Wisenhunt told us yesterday, we asked him about it, about having that relationship. He said it's definitively easy. He said, because I know that he can make a change. It'll be the right change at the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to go for it all. Going for the end zone. Incomplete. He overthrew Andre Patton. And it's now 4th down. Kenny Webster was in on the coverage. Well, here comes Long.
He's going to punt. Oh, no, they're going to kick the field goal. 51-yarder. You're up 17. That would put you up 20.
One of the things that Long said about Tyrod Taylor holding, he said, you know, in the Canadian Football League, he goes, I had a different holder almost every week. He said, so I can get used to him quickly. This will be a 51-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold. The kick is on its way, and it is good from 51 yards.
Give this guy a ton of credit. It's not easy to come in and to do both jobs. You come in as a rookie, and they tell you you're going to be the punter. And week 1, they say, hey, you're going to kick. Here he is in the 4th game doing an unbelievable job.
Long Phillip Rivers and the rest of the Los Angeles Chargers have talked about finishing, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They're up 30-10 with 7:21 to play. They're on their way to their 2nd victory of the season. Meanwhile, Miami on its way to its 4th loss to start the year. They knew it would be a rebuild season this year. As Long will kick it off. Walton's back deep to receive. Walton about 3 yards deep. He's going to take a knee. You know, in 2007, the Dolphins went 1-15. Their only win came in a dramatic fashion. Week 15 against Baltimore. Greg Camarillo was the hero. He scored on a 64-yard touchdown pass from Cleo Lemon for the 22-16 win in overtime. Jay, you were part of that team. 1-15. It's hard to go through a year like that.
It is, but it comes down to personal accountability, and you have an opportunity. A lot of these guys on the Dolphins team are playing and getting an opportunity that they wouldn't have other places in the NFL. So you have to take advantage of that opportunity, be appreciative of it daily.
They'll run on 1st down. And it's Walton who does have a 1st down again.
You can't allow the collective failures of the team and the struggles and the fact that you've traded a number of your really good players like Tunsil and Fitzpatrick and that you obviously are building for the future. You can't allow that to impact you on a daily basis. You got to come to practice with the right mentality. You got to come to work with the right work ethic, and go out there and understand that in the end of the day, regardless of the collective failures, you are judged individually, and your career will be dependent on how you play.
Well, they have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds of the upcoming draft. They have 7 in the first 3 rounds. They swing it out to Walton, and Walton bounces up across the 40 to the 42-yard line. As the clock winds, under 6.5 to play.
And Josh Rosen is a perfect example of that. He was drafted in the first round by the Cardinals. They gave up on him after a year and traded him. He gets an opportunity here. And the question is he the answer going forward? You have 3 first-round picks next year. Are you going to draft one of those quarterbacks? Tua, Herbert.
Chargers showing blitz on 2nd down, and he overthrows his intended receiver. It is Isaiah Ford.
And he can't afford to do that. Coming into this game, Josh Rosen, you can see the draft picks. They got their own. They got one from Pittsburgh in the Fitzpatrick trade, from Houston in the Tunsil trade, Tunsil and Stills, a couple 2nd-rounders. They're going to have a lot of draft ammunition. And the #1 question will be, are they going to take a quarterback?
And they're going to have to do it right, too, because they have so many picks. They're down at 3. Bosa's coming from the backside. Pass is complete to Williams. He's got a first down. They're now 2 of 6 on 3rd down since starting the game. 3 for their first 3.
That was a better throw for Josh Rosen. Coming into this game, I started to say it. He was 36% throwing to his receivers, only 50% completion throwing to his running backs. That's just not good enough. And he's had time today. He's had the ability to get the ball out, find receivers downfield, and he struggled in the second half.
A first down from the 48 underneath to Williams. And Williams trying to stay on his feet. Maybe got a yard trying to get away from Michael Davis. I think one thing that they do know is that this young man could be a #1 receiver. He probably needs help, but this is a good receiver.
It's a crazy story. I mean, here he comes in. He's undrafted free agent. He's your #1 receiver now. He's 6'5", 220, got really good size. He's got speed. He plays gunner as well. So they found a really good one in Preston Williams.
He had 12 targets last week against the Cowboys.
Had the touchdown that he dropped. He caught. They could have challenged it, didn't. Ended up being incomplete, but I think he'll continue to grow. Brian Flores told us, like, we see daily improvement with Preston Williams, and that's exactly what you want to see from every guy in your team, regardless of the circumstances, coming to work, working hard, putting in the right effort, being diligent, studying the game plan, and then trying to improve daily.
See the numbers each half. Lighter first half, second half offensively for the Dolphins. Solid first half. Chargers showing blitz again. Rosen steps up. He's in trouble, and he is sacked. The ball comes loose, and the Dolphins fall on top of it. Evan Bain was able to fall on top of it. Desmond King again was in the mix.
This game reminds me a lot of last week's game for these Dolphins. They're in the game against a really good Cowboys team. They're trailing 10-6. They've missed a field goal. They drive down. They got the ball at the 5-yard line. Drake fumbles. They come out and they don't play well in the second half. Similar here. You're in the game. You go down. You miss 2 field goals. You go to halftime. You come out and you haven't played well at all in the second half.
Yeah, and time of possession is swinging way over to Phillip Rivers and the Chargers side of the field. 33 minutes and 40 seconds to 22 minutes and 23 seconds for the Dolphins as they use a timeout. Stay tuned for the NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut. Time permitting, join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights.
Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down here, and why not? And for Josh Rosen, one of the things he's going to be judged on this year is the way he leads this team. Can he put this team on his back, not allow them to get down, continue to understand what Chad O'Shea is asking him to do, continue to grow and get better individually himself, but also be a leader, something that's been questioned throughout his career.
We asked Chad O'Shea about coming from the Patriots to being the offense coordinator for the Dolphins. He said, I've thought about that. He said, it is hard. He said, but I'm just having them try to think about every play and what they can control individually, as Ford is well shy of the first down on that 4th down pass play.
I mean, that's one where you got to go downfield.
Yeah.
You know, you understand it's 4th and 12. You have to get the first down. You throw the check down and go downfield. You got Preston Williams running a route downfield. You had him open On the play that Josh Rosen fumbled on, he had Preston Williams wide open down the field, couldn't find him there, and they turned the ball over on downs.
Tyrod Taylor will take over for the Chargers. So it looks like Los Angeles is going to go the whole game without having to use Melvin Gordon. We mentioned during the outset that they didn't want to use him. He was here because of all the injuries. They thought they might put him in, but they wanted to wait and see if it was an emergency before they decided to. They're going to play this whole game without having to use him.
Best case scenario for Anthony Lynn. You get him back. He's happy to be back. That was what Anthony Lynn told me this morning. I said, you know, what did you see in Melvin Gordon this week? I saw a great attitude. I saw somebody who was happy to be there. Philip Rivers told us how excited that entire locker room was to have Melvin Gordon back. And he said how excited he was to be back. He didn't like sitting out, didn't like being away from his team and his teammates. And that business side, you just put it aside, and now you just come play.
Clock will wind under 3 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Chargers up by 20. On second down, Hope runs into Taylor. Bounces to the right. That gives him a couple of yards to the 44.
This Chargers team easily could be 3-0 coming into this game. They lose to Detroit when they have a lead, and you know they have 4 possessions in a row. They fumble the ball, they miss a couple field goals, and then Philip Rivers throws an interception at the end of the game. They went back and forth with the Texans last week, had an opportunity at the end of the game to tie it. Travis Benjamin drops a perfectly thrown ball from Philip Rivers. Inability to finish games. They've done that here today. And you look at their upcoming schedule. They got Denver 0-3 coming into today, Steelers 0-3 coming into today, and then the 1-2 Titans. So it sets up for them to recover from a poor start.
Looks like they may have gotten the first down on that pass play. Andre Patton, here's that upcoming schedule that Jay alluded to. You brought that up to Anthony Lynn too, about the upcoming schedule, and he smiled and just.
But coaches don't like to acknowledge that. But when you're struggling, obviously you look at the schedule and you understand who you're going to play. And every week you have to be focused on only that game. But it's set up perfectly for these Chargers. When you're 1-2 and you're struggling, if you got to play the top teams in the league, that's tough.
Yeah.
It gave them the ability, especially with the injuries, to recover, to get a win, try and get ready for next week.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. We'll be back right after this. Sure, Jason Taylor really appreciates that, walking around the stadium, and Don Shula as well, 2 iconic players and coaches here in Miami. Tyrod Taylor's just going to take a knee as they'll wind the clock down. Philip Rivers has to be happy, even with all the injuries that have gone on with the Chargers. He's put together a solid day. Eckler the same way. Philip 24 of 30, 310 yards.
He had an excellent day. He really did. When this game had to be on his shoulders and he had to look for different receivers and spread the ball around and play a very cerebral, smart game, he did that.
Up at Buffalo, it's turned into a good one. We're going to have bonus coverage of the Patriots and the Bills. That's coming up. We'll join Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts. On second down, Taylor again takes a knee. That'll wind under minutes of play here in the fourth quarter. Melvin Gordon back in uniform. Didn't play today, but I think the first step was getting him back with this team.
Yeah, got him back, had him out of practice, and really the next thing for the Chargers is trying to get healthy.
Yes.
Because they are a beat-up football team. Lost a number of guys today. Ingram, Perryman, Sean Culkin. They already had 2 of their best players, Derwin James and Adrian Phillips, on injured reserve. They're hopeful they could bring them back. You can bring back a couple of guys from injured reserve, but they got to get healthy.
Well, that's it. The Chargers will run out the last 30 seconds. Philip Rivers and the rest of Los Angeles will leave Miami with a victory. It's the first time Philip has won a game here in Miami. He's now 1-3. 30-10, the final score. The Chargers have defeated the Miami Dolphins. They finished. That was a key. Philip Rivers and Josh Rosen chatting as this game comes to a close. For Jay Feely, this is Tom McCarthy saying so long from Miami. Now let's go to James Brown in New York for the NFL Today update.